from the perspective of someone who is just extremely nourished and rewarded by their job, and of course, issues with it. What's your advice to someone who wants to be a DJ? You were a software engineer and you made a transition from hobbyist into professional DJ. What would you say to someone who wants to do that?
Great question. And I think the first thing is think about why you want to do it. And everyone has a different answer. My answer is I just have this need to be understood, and I felt like that for me was much more nourished through artistry than it was through software writing. But maybe someday I'll go back to software writing and I'll come up with a cool iPhone app that scratches this itch better than DJing does. But one, think about why you're doing it, and then more tactically, if the reason that you want to do it is a healthy reason, if it's a sustainable reason, if it's a long-term reason, if the reason that you, and this really takes soul searching. I think a lot of people might have reasons for doing it that they're not aware of, which is maybe the reason they do it is because it gets them access to girls, or because it gets them, social status where they can be cool. And these things, are motivations can be motivations for people to be a DJ. But I think the first thing is really spend some time digging deep and think. I feel like I'm on my high horse so much by saying this right now, but think about, if the reasons that you want to do it are sustainable and healthy. And then beyond that, tactically, I think, is it possible to do this? Kind of going back to the way I thought about it, which I'm in a very privileged position, but when I made that jump, I was able to already be making enough money to cover my expenses. But that was a very pragmatic decision that I made before going full-time. Can I make a career out of this? Can I pay my bills? If I don't get bookings for 6 months, will I have to take more of those soul-sucking corporate gigs? Will I have to compromise myself? And now the question is, how much will you have to compromise yourself? Or how much do I have to compromise myself in order to sustain doing this career? So yeah, one, think about what the motivations are deep down. Are those motivations sustainable? Is it financially sustainable? Is it lifestyle sustainable? I talk about this a lot. There's, I could probably go on and on. Is this, maybe I can't go on and on. I think those are
a little bit like you didn't want to go on and on.
I don't want to shit on someone's dream,
I don't think anyone really wants to shit on someone's dream. I take your point.
I've been really, really lucky to get to this point. And it's really, really, despite all the luck I've had, it's like really, it takes a lot of really, really hard work. So I guess that's another one. Another piece of advice that, my wife, she's also an artist, and we talk about this as well, that there's, when I decided to become a full-time DJ, I'm an artist, and this is the most unromantic thing to say, but I'm also a business, and I hire people, I fire people, I have to decide how much I want to pay people, mentor people, I have to do marketing, advertising, think about the brand, which was like such a bad word to me when I was just a hobbyist. It's like, I don't have a brand. I just do whatever I want and I'm an artist. But when it gets to a point when I have to think about how am I going to make a career about this? How am I going to decide how to build my team? Do I have the right people working on my team? I have a team, that's another thing a piece of advice to give to someone who wants to make a career about it. As unromantic and as cringy as it is, to really think about, are you comfortable with your art being a business?